Had a little too much fun with that. But you know what they say, dress for success. It's usually a helpful element in being productive at home. So grab your materials and let's get started. So for the lounge jumpsuit, aka catsuit, you want to take a pair of leggings and a tank top, try them on, and mark where the tank top stops at the waistband of the leggings. Turn these garments inside out, fold the tank so the front faces out, and place the leggings with the front facing up. I chose a terry-backed jersey, which I pre-shrunk and folded along the grain. Draw a line down the center of your folded fabric with some chalk. This will be your side seam. Because the side seam will essentially be a fold, we have to take in the waist on the center front seam. Trace around your garments. I add some width because my fabric is a little less stretchy than the garments that I am copying. I created a more square neckline and will do the same to the back so it's easy to get into without a zipper or other fastenings. Flip over your leggings so the back faces up and line up with the center line. Trace out the leg and especially the crotch seam because it will be a little different than the front, more of a rounded curve. Cut out the front side and back bottom. Flip over the front and cut the mirror shape for the back. Make sure you mark the front side and the back side so that you don't forget later. So separate each piece, fold each piece, and sew up the inseams. If you don't have a serger, just use a zigzag stitch on your domestic machine. Next, match front to front and back to back seam and sew the entire seam. Before sewing the neckline, sew the shoulder seams. Measure the neckline and armhole and cut 1-inch strips in those lengths. For edge finishing the neckline, start your strip at the shoulder, leaving room for seam allowance. Since we don't want the neckline gaping, you want to stretch the strips a little along the neckline. Make a snip where it lines up with the center front seam, the shoulder seam, and the center back seam. Then pin the whole thing. Do the same for the armholes. To start, make sure you sew the seam of the binding strip, then apply it right sides to the garment neckline. Now this is optional, but I'm adding some clear elastic into the neckline seam to prevent it from bagging out over time. It's not really necessary, but if you have some elastic and want to try it, here is how to do it. The trick is to get the needle into the elastic before you lower the foot and start sewing. Otherwise, you will find that it will be very difficult to get the elastic in. The foot keeps wanting to push it back because it's kind of a sticky material. Do the same for the armholes. If you cut the binding strip cleanly, you could leave it as is, unsewn. I continued with my original plan and flipped it under and cover stitched it. To completely finish the garment, hem the legs and press to complete. This sweater is my favorite and super easy. Take an oversized t-shirt and try it on. I wanted my sweater to fit loosely, with a hood, drop shoulder, and slits. Take your fabric and fold it 4 times. On the double fold, place the center front of your folded t-shirt. Trace around the shape of the t-shirt to create a drop shoulder. Also trace out the back neckline first because it's higher. Make sure the sleeve area is wide enough for your bicep with seam allowance included. Mine ended up being a tad snug, so make sure you watch that. I added length to the t-shirt so that it would be hip length and created a notch for the side slits. Separate the two and trace the front neckline on one of them and cut it out. Measure the width of your sleeve opening and transfer to 2 folded strips of fabric. Decide your length and measure out half your wrist length, plus seam allowance. Connect these markings and cut with a 1-inch sleeve hem allowance. For the hood, you want to fold your fabric 4 times to create a fully lined hood. Use the hood from a sweater to copy. Place the hood with the opening on the double fold. Because I want the front of the hood to overlap, I'm adding some width at the base of the hood. It's a good idea to make sure the hood you are copying is similar or the same size as your neckline so that it will match. Otherwise, just measure your neckline and add or reduce the width that you need to. Cut out your hood and with right sides together, sew around your hood, leaving the bottom open. Turnout is shown, lining up the edges of the hood neckline. Iron the folds of the hood opening and mark a 1-inch line from the fold. Use this as a guide to sew around and create a casing. Snip a slit 3 inches from the neckline on either side and feed through your drawstring with a safety pin. For the sweater body, place right sides together and sew the shoulders. Then open it up and attach the sleeves. You then want to sew up the entire side seam, leaving the side slit open. Attach the hood overlapping at center front. Then sew with care. The first time around, one side of the overlap was left out, so I had to redo that section. To finish the hem, fold back about 1 inch straight across the bottom and cover stitch or zigzag. I cut the front side 1 inch shorter because I wanted a subtle high-low hem look. It helps to iron the hem before stitching. Also, hem the sleeves. To finish the slits, fold back 1/4 and 1/4. Then you will want to reinforce the side seam with a back stitch. Then sew up the side with a straight stitch. Iron to finish, and you are done. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you made something that you can wear and accomplish your day with pizzazz, okay? If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe, I would love for you to join the family. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Stay in!